I added up fuel costs, meals costs,
Sure.
medical costs, and it was like at I would say roughly 269,000
There's
something.
around 269,000 total all-in costs
Yeah.
to be able to house these guys outside of the county. Now that was just that. That's before the $75,000
Yeah, I didn't even add that.
of maintaining that.
Yeah, I didn't even
So
add
that
that.
puts you around 350. Newton County Sheriff Robert Burby. We're going to be talking about the jail today. Now we've talked about this a little bit. We've talked about, over the past months, we've talked about the need and the issues and things like that. But it's almost like, for some reason, it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. If people ain't going to jail, then they ain't really worried about it,
Yeah, you're right. Thanks. First of all, thanks for coming over and sitting down listening to us and about this subject, which is something we've been talking about for at least a year constantly, at least I have. And it's one of those things that if it's out of sight, it's out of mind. If you don't hear anything about it, then you don't think about it.
Right.
Just like crime, when there's not a whole lot of crime being reported,
Right.
people tend to get complacent and get comfortable, and that's when something happens. And then they say, "Well, why aren't they doing something?" Well, we have been doing something, but we can't stop it completely.
Right.
But again, one of the things about this facility, it's not going to get any better.
Right.
Period.
Sure.
We paid over $50,000 in repair costs and replacement costs last year during the budget.
Okay.
And just to start off up front, I'm looking to spend another $23,000 starting this month on the intercom system, which was one of the deficiencies that the jail commission dinged us on last November during the inspection.
Okay. So this is not like we're changing the paint and we're wanting to bring a more friendly atmosphere to our paint color scheme. I mean, this is not something like we're bringing in lazy boys and comfortable seating for everybody. It's not like that. This is infrastructure type stuff.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up. The painting is easy and inexpensive, and we do that from time to time to try to make it look decent in here. It helps out the lighting as well. We're talking about major repairs for air conditioning, roof leaking. We're talking about jail doors, the locking mechanism. We're talking about finding parts for those different things. We're talking about the Sally Port doors needing work on the automatic up and down mechanism. Plumbing issues are a big thing because some of the inmates tend to intentionally clog up the system, the drainage system. And that is an ongoing thing that we have to pay to get repaired. Plumbing costs are very high. The toilets and showers and sinks, all that stuff is connected to the drainage system. And we have to get that done. We have to get that repaired quickly whenever it stops up. Wash and dryers. We're washing constantly, drying constantly. Those things, you normally go through a washer and a dryer like once a year, and not very much after that. They don't last. They just don't hold up. They use too much. And it's we're talking about a bulk wash and dryer. We're talking about making sure our fire extinguishers are up to date and those things. Computer issues for the console, for the dispatch that really is the mainstay of the jail.
Right.
Fire alarms. We had a 5-panel that went out twice last year, and we had issues with that. That was another discrepancy that we got dinged with by the jail commission.
So a fire panel went out.
Yeah, it malfunctioned.
Okay, so what is it? I mean, what is
It shows what if there's a smoke or fire detected. It shows what the area it is, and that's one of the things that it took over 2-3 weeks to get that fixed because they had to find out what the shortage was. It was going off, but there was no fire.
Yeah.
Okay, so we finally got that repaired. Roof, like I said, leaking. When we go back there, there's an area you can look up and see. You can see
where it's leaking through.
No, you can see daylight. whatever that means. So we're it's sad to keep throwing good money after bad. We also have a surveillance system that needs to be replaced, upgraded and replaced, and those are the things that we have to deal with constantly. It's not one of those things that's going to fix itself, and we're going to have to get it fixed.
Right.
That is one of those things. Oh well, let's put a Band-Aid on. There's no Band-Aids to be had on the infrastructure here.
Yeah.
So again, we can't just keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result or a better result.
So let me ask you this, not to cut you off, but with I don't know how everybody else thinks about it out here in the public, but just my thought process is, do you feel like there's a clear understanding as to, because I know when we've talked about this before, we've always talked about the potential of what could be done up at the prison, okay, and how we could be benefited, not just with having better facilities. The prison is currently owned by the county, correct?
That is correct, and it is something that we need to definitely rule out.
Yeah.
So far as I'm concerned, it's in.
Right.
Because we own it.
Right.
It needs to be brought up to standards. That is a fact. But at this point, it can't be ruled out.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Makes sense.
I can tell you this: there is no monies available for a new ground-up prison or inmate or jail, because those you're talking about in excess of $23-24 million.
Okay.
That's what we're talking about from ground up. And that cost increases daily because of the fact the materials goes up.
So then let me ask it like this then. So right now, your max capacity on how many people you have or how many people you can have
14
is 14.
14.
Okay. And beyond that, you are actively on a weekly basis having to send folks over to Louisiana and over to Jasper to get taken care of.
That is correct. It is a chess game for the moving piece inmates, because like I said before, Jasper now is $45 per day per inmate, and Louisiana Burby Parish is $60. So what we do is we keep the people that's going to state prison or ISF, but those kind of places, or is going to be getting out soon. Those things. We keep them locally.
Okay. So
long term, we take to Burby Parish. Also, we keep locally are the inmates that are considered patients, because they're waiting on a bed through the mental health arm of the system.
So you keep them here too?
Yeah.
Okay, so right now, how many mental patients?
We have 3.
You have 3.
Because
so
that is because we have the sales is more conducive to housing them where they can't hurt themselves or others.
Okay, so
They're not a mental health ward, but that's the best we can do.
best you can do. Okay,
Yeah.
so so let me see if I understand this correct. So you find a person out here who's having mental health issues. That now becomes your issue as a sheriff. You bring them in. You've got 3 here. Do they all go into one cell together?
No, oh no, 3 separate cells. And what happens when we have a mental health crisis or call, we take them and have them evaluated here through Zoom.
Okay.
And if they recommended high level of care, then we have to take them to whatever that place is.
Okay.
Okay. The folks that are in here have been in here for a while. They have been found that they're incompetent to stand trial.
Okay.
Okay. And they are waiting for a long-term facility.
Okay.
Okay.
Are
And
there any long-term facilities around here?
the closest one is in Harris County.
Okay.
That's the closest one that I'm aware
And so
of.
you have to wait on them to have a bed open, correct?
It's not necessarily Harris. That's the closest, but that's not the only one. Anywhere that they say, we have in the past, since I've been in office, we've taken inmates to on the other side of Abilene,
Okay.
Texas. Yeah,
Okay.
So
So
it-
anywhere.
that's right.
Anywhere. Okay, so, but you're saying that the mental health folks are put into individual cells. How many people normally go in a cell?
And those cells,
It's just
only
one.
one, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
that is a single cells.
Okay.
That's what I say. We don't have the facility equipped for a mental patient.
Okay.
But what we do have is individual cells where there'll be more safer to house them in those cells
Okay.
to protect themselves and others.
Okay. Okay. So, all right. So, having said all that, is there any kind of, so you spent $50,000 last year on just infrastructure maintenance stuff, basically.
Mhm.
Air conditioners, lighting, all this different stuff, right? So you spent $50,000 last year. You say right off the bat, you're gonna have to spend roughly $25,000 this year, right now, for what again?
Yeah, well, it's going to be on last year's budget, but it could have been on this year's budget. Budgets it starts from beginning of January to the end of December. We had it looked at to the end of December, so it'd be last year's money, but it could have been this year's money.
Right.
So if you look at it, it's going to be even more than the 50,000
Okay.
if you add it correctly.
So roughly 75,000 last year
Roughly.
on that money. Okay. So and this is just going to continue to be the same thing. I mean,
Yeah. And you know what? We shop around. We don't just,
hop on Amazon and grab it.
hop on anything. We're always, we try to get the best price for services as
Sure.
well as parts and equipment and everything. So we're trying to be very mindful of taxpayers' money because that's what they expect us to do.
Yeah.
And everything, and we do that. And I want to thank my folks who helped me run this place for doing a yeoman's job and being committed, and they're stakeholders and trying to do the right thing to make
Right.
sure that we are able to operate efficiently and effectively moving forward, as well as taking care of the inmates, providing safety and well-being for them. So, a lot of moving parts. A lot of folks say, "Well, why I don't see you that much." I say, "Well, I'm out and about, but the biggest job that I have is this jail and the courthouse. That's why we have deputy sheriffs.
Yeah.
I can't be everywhere all the time.
Right. Right.
And when you have people, you have say 9, 10 people or up to 14 people in your charge, you're responsible for their well-being, period.
Right.
So you have to oversee that, and it's just not I don't hear nothing, everything
Yeah.
is fine. I got to make sure it's fine and everything, and I take my job very seriously.
So if we're moving forward and we're looking at potential of going over to utilizing the prison, okay, the potential there then shifts from you never being in a position, Newton County never being in a position not to have space as crime grows. You would be able to keep most everybody here, plus you would be able to add on the other side of it of becoming one of these locations like Jasper or
And
Beauregard
Burby Parish, yeah. And I'm glad you brought that up, because when we first took our initial inmates over there to Burby Parish, I toured the facility and I walked that facility, and I was, like I said, I've said this before and I'm going to continue to say it. I told the captain that was with me, this could be us.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't a new facility, it was an older facility, because,
Right.
you know, I remember that facility when I was a little boy,
Right.
which was a very long time ago. Anyway, and it's still in good shape.
Right.
And everything. So yes, we will have our capacity, whatever that would be, and which, you know, we're averaging anywhere from 26 to 28 inmates in our custody at any given time.
Right.
Since I'm in the office, we have booked in, and I say bookends. That don't mean that Newton County arrested them, but we had a large share into that. 793 in bookends.
Wow.
You know, 3-year period. That's a lot. And we've sent a lot of people to the state and various facilities.
Yeah.
And everything since I've been here. That is a constant. The train is that they call it is constantly moving, and it moves a lot through Newton County. So that means that we're doing our job in more ways than one, and everything. And that is what it's like. I said before in the top of this. If you don't hear anything, you feel everything is fine, everything go. But you know, there's a whole lot of work behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Always have been.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and always will be a lot of work behind the scenes, and not a whole lot of people to do it. We do just as many the transports that we do, the hospital appointments we have to take them to, dental appointments we have to take them to.
Right.
And even the general public might disagree. Well, they shouldn't have to go to the hospital. They shouldn't have to go to medical. We're mandated. That's law that we have to do those things.
Right.
You know, and we will do those things and everything. We don't let our personal opinions play into that and everything. So, we're at a point that we just gonna have to find a final remedy, solution versus a remedy.
Right.
Because the remedy is putting this Band-Aid on this gunshot wound.
Right.
You know, it'll look better, but it ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, everything is falling. I mean, everything on some level is falling apart.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's no different, you know, than a vehicle out here on the road. I mean, every year it's depreciating.
Right.
The value of it's depreciating. And so to be able to go out to the prison and potentially get that thing up to par, to where not only is it a place where we're no longer saddled with having to spend money in other counties or states, where it becomes an income bearing element to help supplement the force that you guys are as the sheriff's office.
Yeah, and then there's a ripple effect behind it. You know, if we get more, we have more space. We have to make sure the logistics match that, insofar as more people to work up there, and then another thing that happens if folks, if you got more people working here in Newton, when I say Newton, I mean Newton County, basically. When you have more people coming to Newton, you're gonna have more commerce coming to Newton. You're gonna have more people getting gas, buying food, taking the things that are available, you know, to subsistence themselves in life. You have more people moving here, looking for a place to live, and like I say, it's a win-win situation. It's not an overnight fix, but it's something that needs to happen or will eventually happen in some shape, form, or fashion.
Yeah.
We got to be, honest to that and look at it and be visionary
Sure.
in those efforts. We're looking to get a bio plant here in the future, and that's going to bring more people, a lot of good people. But like I said before, when good people come to an area, bad people come too. There will be more of a drain on us. So when I say a drain, but more, we will have to do more work to make sure the people are safe,
Right.
and everything. And the knuckleheads who cross the line, we should have adequate space for them
Absolutely.
and everything,
Absolutely.
and to try to deter them from doing those kind of things. So, and that's just human nature.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You're gonna have more people to deal with.
Absolutely.
I've seen growth, and I've been in areas that growth came in and happened, and things start to kind of snowball and everything. And if you're not prepared for those different things,
Yeah.
then you're gonna be behind the game and
Right.
everything. And like I've always said, it is hard to keep up
Right.
with what's going on, and it's almost impossible to catch up.
Right. So then I guess my question is this. If we're sitting here talking about you have room for 14 minus 3 because you got 3 people who have to. So 14 minus 3, that puts you at 11.
Mm-hmm.
So anything over 11 until the folks go off to their mental locations, then, and you're running about somewhere between 25 and 30. So you basically have, I mean, I'm not real good with math, but I mean, you've got over $500 a day. I mean, am I looking at that right?
No, let's just say like this.
If we're just talking about Jasper.
Yeah, and it's going, like I say, it went up $5. Last year, just to tell you, we spent $122,000 on housing inmates.
Housing inmates outside the county.
Yeah.
And that's before you hooked up with Beauregard Parish.
Yeah, we
I
got
think
one.
you did that toward the end of the
We got
calendar
one
year.
bill. We got one bill, and if my numbers are correct, I think it's $11,000 for about 1 month.
For 1 month.
Yeah.
So not only are you having to pay roughly 75 grand, I mean, you did that last year in 2023, roughly 75 grand on infrastructure stuff to try to keep things going. You also tag on the 100 and what?
122,000.
122,000. So we're knocking on $200,000.
Yeah, if you look at, I added up fuel costs, meals costs,
Sure.
medical costs, and it was like at, I would say roughly 269,000 or something.
It was around 269,000 total all-in costs
Yeah.
to be able to house these guys outside of the county.
Yeah.
Now that was just that. That's before the $75,000
Yeah, I didn't even add that.
of maintaining that.
Yeah, I didn't even
So
add
that puts
in
you
there.
around 350.
So, and
I mean, this is just simple numbers.
yeah, that's half of what the jail budget is almost. That's
Okay.
almost half of my jail budget.
Wow. Okay.
So we're,
Well, hey,
we're spending money,
but are we spending it the right way?
Yeah.
That's the question.
that old saying, chasing good money and behind bad.
Yep.
That's comes to mind on that.
Yeah.
Because it's only, as we progress in time, things go up,
Sure.
and
And inflation has not been nice.
yeah,
So, any last things you want to put out to the people?
we need a jail.
Yeah.
I was in a commission meeting another day, and they did, and they said, they asked me what did I need. I said we need a new jail. We need a new jail facility. When I say a new jail facility, it doesn't mean it need to be ground up facility, because I know what that costs entail, especially since we have a building up there. Am I stuck on that building up on the hill? It's a county building. You always check,
Check
in law
your resources
enforcement,
first.
in law enforcement, they always say, check the in-laws before you check the outlaws.
Right.
Check what you got first,
Right.
before you go and look for somewhere else. Like I say, if it works, fine. If it does not work, fine. We already, like I say, it has not been ruled out. Let's make sure that we do our due diligence to move forward, because we're in a holding pattern here.
Right. So if we're not going to if we're not going to use the jail or the prison up there, if we're not going to do that, and we're not going to go out for a $30 million bond,
Yeah,
and we have currently have space for 11 folk here at the original jail in this county, seemed like the commissioners need to kind of get on the vision of this thing on some level, at least if nothing else, just to rule that jail out, or that prison out. If that prison is not usable, then what are we going to do about this? Are we going to keep bleeding out $375,000 a year? Is that what we're going to do? I mean, is that?
And obviously, I don't speak for the commissioners or the judge and everything. I don't spend the money. I do spend money, but they make the budgetary decisions and everything. And like you say, we have done some work, and we are planning on doing more work. But we need to have a yeoman's effort in getting that done, because we owe it to the citizens, because we'll keep putting this money here and everything,
and the monies that potentially would come off of if the prison was what was utilized. What's the total number of beds that'd be there?
Yeah, we would. I would go in for at least 200.
200. Okay,
if not 300 to get it.
Okay.
What it'd be cost effective to do it.
Okay, so if we're talking about 200 beds minus your 30, we're talking about 170 beds, and even if you were charging around the numbers that Jasper's charging, at 45, you got 170 times 45. I ain't that quick on that math, but I'll be honest with you. I mean, if that kind of money's coming into the county to be able to bed those inmates, that'd be great.
And Jay, one of the things that I don't want it to sound like I'm trying to make money,
right,
to get on this. I know the money will be made. That's not even a question,
right?
And that's why, like I told the judge, I said, we need to get the max amount of beds in there, because we're spending. We could put 25 to 30, and if we had more space, we would put more in there easily and everything. So that's what we have to look at. We have to be visionary.
Right.
Everything you do, you have to look to the future. You have to look now and project where you're going to be in the future, so you don't shortchange yourself, like for a better term. And it's just a effective way to plan.
Yeah.
So in the state of Texas, it is a main problem all counties have, is having adequate space.
Right.
Just about everyone.
Yeah.
Every other one, because every other one is getting renting space from the other.
Yeah. Right.
So that's how it's going. So I want to be the other.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to depend on another facility, because again, I had to hurry up and get them over to Burby Parish, because a lot of counties was taking their inmates over there.
Right.
And I told the guys, I said, let's hurry up where we can get this agreement signed and approved, so we can get our folks over there, so we don't be left out. And we was able to do that. So this is what we encounter in this particular area of law enforcement in county
Okay.
when it comes to the sheriff's office and the jail.
Okay.
And one of the things that a county must provide is a jail.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. Sheriff Burby, I appreciate your time, man. Appreciate you sitting down with us, talking to us about the jail. Hopefully, we can bring a lot more awareness.
Awareness and understanding and patience.
Yeah.
We've been patient before, but we have to be realistic in our thinking going forward
Right.
to remedy this situation once and for all, to get a solution.
That's right.
And that's what we need to look at it. And it ain't personal.
Yeah.
It's,
I mean, you can only house 11 people.
right.
That's just what it is.
That's right.
That's just what it is.
And let me say this before you cut off.
Okay.
One of the reasons why there's such a lag is we don't house Class C violators. And a Class C violator is someone, a charge, for instance, is public intoxication. There's a Class C violation of assault and those kind of things, traffic ticket things.
Right.
Whereas before they used to put people in jail. Well, we don't. We'll put them in jail for a Class C violation, limited amount of time.
Right.
And they'll get out the next day.
Right.
The other folks we have are violators of parole or probation.
Okay.
The reason we pick them up because they've violated their parole or probation. That means they have a hold on them for the most part.
Right.
Okay, they're not going anywhere until they have a hearing and everything and get a judge what's going to happen to them.
Right.
And we have other offenders who commit crimes that have a criminal history that necessitates in a high bond amount, and they get a high bond amount.
Right.
And the sheriff's office has nothing to do with setting bonds. That's the JP's job. Okay, they're mandated to do that, and there's certain measures they have to go by. Criminal history being number one. So, and that ends up having people who are not going anywhere per se. Very rarely we have people that bond in and bond out. Very rare. We do it on occasion, but it's not a consistent thing.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's a new frame of
So that's
thinking I
different-
want
so
you to.
really, you basically have 11 people here and 3 mental patients that are mentally incompetent.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you have 3 of those, and you have 11 who basically, these guys, it's not like a revolving
Right.
door where somebody gets picked up and then they bond out.
Yeah. Right, that very rarely happens. Normally, people that get do that is people who they get charged for something, they get found out, they get told, they come up here, turn themselves in, bond, they get booked in, and they already have their bond set up.
Right.
But that's, like I say, that don't happen rarely. It happens, but it's not a everyday thing.
Right. I got you.
I wish it was.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
it'd make it a lot easier for us in more ways than one.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. Sheriff Burby, appreciate you taking the time.
Always.
Appreciate it.